All right, hello everybody. Welcome back to the channel. We got a special video today. A special video? Yes, one that I can't remember if we've done before. I came up with the idea in my head. Well, I didn't come up with it. I saw somebody else do it, and I thought, you know what would be good? It's really hard to make content and to make it good and beneficial, and I've got to come up with an idea, then I've got to film myself talking about it. I actually have to have the knowledge in the first place to then speak on it. It's kind of tricky, and it's also tiresome. What's the easiest thing that I could do? What's the easiest way to make a video? And in fact, it's commenting on your comments, because we've got a lot of great people that leave comments. I encourage it. In fact, in the videos, I'll often promote it at the end to leave a cryptic comment, and everyone does a really good job. There's some that are fantastic. That gets people to watch till the end. We're able to trick you to watch longer, which is not better for you, but it's better for me, because then that means I can get extra chicken in my burrito, right? I get that extra $2. That makes a big difference to me, and it's the only reason I actually do this channel, is to benefit myself. It has nothing to do with you, because I don't even know you. Right? I'm just talking to a camera. I'm just putting this stuff out there. Hopefully it catches on and maybe somebody's a little bit better for it. I know that I would be better if I didn't know this stuff and someone told me, but I probably wouldn't listen to them. I'd probably go out on my own and screw it up, and then I'd be angry at the person that told me before I screwed it up that I was going to screw it up because I didn't listen to them. It's kind of like that. So this is what we're doing today. We're responding to comments on the videos. And yeah, that way if we do this, maybe more people will leave comments. And then I'll get to do more of these videos about your comments, whether they're smart or, let's be honest, chances are not very bright. Okay, let's get into it. All right, first up, here we go, a gem. This is fantastic stuff here. Not every shot should be narrow key. First of all, kind sir, you don't just get to make up your own terminology, right? That's not what cinematography is. You have to follow the rules that were set forth by others that came before you. What do you think, because you're the cinematographer, that you're the boss on set? That people should just listen to you because you've employed them? You don't just get to make up narrow key, right? It's called the framework. Yeah, you're right. Like, not every shot should be narrow key. Narrow key, I don't know. I mean, maybe other people use that. Luckily, I'm not on set with other people that would say narrow key. I would never say that. But I understand what you're saying. You don't think that every shot should be like that. Okay, not every shot should look great. All I'm saying, well, not all I'm saying, I say a lot of things. Narrow key looks better to me. So if I'm in charge of the pictures, which is the job of the cinematographer on set, if I was in a battle, right, if you had another cinematographer on set at all times and you had to battle it out, and maybe they liked images that were not that good looking, so they wouldn't want narrow key, then I'd have to argue, like, okay, let's try this. No, I think this is better. Why do you think making it look terrible is actually the smarter move here? Then we would have to battle it out. But your opinion doesn't matter because you're not on my sets. And the only reason I'm on a set is because someone said, hey, you know what? We like the pictures that you do. Can you do the pictures that you do for us? Can you do those same ones? I go, yeah. And I go, okay, well, what do I like? I like narrow key. Okay, I'm going to do that. I'm not going to do the thing I don't like. So does every shot have to be? No, of course it doesn't, but only if you want to make it look good. And in fact, you can make, non-narrow key, if you want to use your terminology, you can make that look good. It's just harder. And because I'm not very bright, and I'm not very good, I want to make everything easier on me. And you may say, well, that's a cop-out, right? You should think about the story. You should think about how it's going to affect the audience. All that stuff, you can cram that because I'm just trying to make it look nice. That's the whole job. That bit is hard enough for me, right? That's the issues that I'm dealing with are difficult enough for me to be able to stay at least engaged on the day, on set, to go, how do I make it look good? This is kind of difficult. I'm going to do at least what I think is going to look nice. This is probably it. Boom. I'm going to default to that. Now, if somebody on set who is responsible for getting me a job, i.e. the director or the producer, they might come over. I've never heard them say they don't want something to be narrow key, but maybe they say, I don't like the way that this looks. Guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to change it. I'm going to change it as fast as I can. But if somebody in the crew comes up and says like, hey, thank you for getting me this job. I don't like the way that it looks. I would say, go fuck yourself. Unless they have a point. And then I try and change it. I'm kind of nice on set. I wouldn't try and be a D-bag, but you're right. Every shot doesn't have to be narrow key. It's just much harder for me to do it any other way and still make it look nice. So I'm looking to eliminate those variables. But thank you very much for the comment. Okay, let's go to the next one. All right, we're hitting a rhythm here. I sincerely love your content. Have you ever decided doing breakdowns of bad cinematography and what not to do's? I humbly volunteer all of the content on my channel for review. It would be an honor for my work to be torn apart by you. I have thought about that. The problem is I I'm a nice person in real life. Like I said, it's fun to make jokes by myself in this room, but I don't want to publicly embarrass anybody. And I would be quite harsh on those people if I actually expressed my true feelings, even to the stuff that we're looking at, which is phenomenal most of the time. Internally, in my head, I'm judging and I'm saying it kind of looks like shit. So even the good stuff that we look at, I'm kind of like, ooh, I could probably do better. Now, could I? No. How do we know that? Because I'm sitting here talking to you. I'm not doing better. Doing better is way harder. But I think in my mind, because I'm a psychopath, that I think I could do better, right? That's my problem. That's what I have to work with. But if I actually expressed that to you, I think it would be too harsh. I don't think you would appreciate it. And even though you say that, you'd probably take it lighthearted at first. And then pretty soon you'd be in the shower crying and I'd feel bad. Well, I wouldn't feel bad because I wouldn't know you were crying, but I would think that would be the end result. I don't want to do that. So sometimes over on the Patreon group, people will send in videos, we'll do reviews, and I try and be as positive in my feedback as I can, but realistic, because you don't often get people telling you who actually know what they're talking about. Now, that's a stretch to say I know what I'm talking about, but I think I can understand the mechanics of what makes a good imagery. At least I think I can understand that bit. Doing it is something different, but I think I can understand it. So I can provide feedback that's maybe more realistic than your friends and your family. So there is a benefit to that, but that's really only for the Patreon members. And it's nice because only people inside of the Patreon group get to see that stuff. And again, it's kind of positive. You should hear me. You should hear my inner monologue on my own stuff. Right? And that's all that you should judge me on. Just if you like the stuff that I make, well, then you should listen to me. If you don't like the stuff that I make, you shouldn't listen to me, right? And you shouldn't listen to me at all. Anyway, if you want a career in cinematography that is not like mine, because I have no idea about a career that is not like mine. If you want to shoot multiple narrative projects a year and you want to be some cinematography god, guess who you shouldn't follow? Me, because I have no idea on how to do that. There's many more people that are better at that. I know how to hack the system together to sort of, if you're kind of a space cadet, be able to trick people into thinking you know cinematography. That's the skill that I bring to this game. But thank you for the comment. All right, next up, here we do. Could you do an example of lighting a space within Cinetracer? I understand the concept. However, it can be such a vague statement concerning film, blah, blah, blah. Does it equate to more resources needed? What if the space is large or medium? So people love the Cinetracer content. I have to do more of that. The problem with doing more of that is that takes time. Like I can't just sit down and then read a comment video like this. This is significantly easier. So I'm going to lean on doing the easier stuff and trying to provide some value this way. I will do more Cinetracer stuff in the future. It's just I have to build out that world. Like by the time I get through with the podcast, breaking down what I've done on previous shoots, then I got to build the world in Cinetracer and show you. I'm not saying it's completely out of the question. It's just, is that the best spend of my time? Maybe. Anyway, so lighting the space, what is the alternative to lighting the space? Like when you think about it, you can light every single shot, but eventually you're going to shoot a wide or the widest shot in a scene. So you're going to end up lighting the space anyway. What does it mean? If you have a larger space, guess what? You need more lights. If you want it to look nice, if you want to have control over the image, you're going to need more lights. More lights equals more control. You want control because that is how you exercise your vision. That is how you dominate the location to impose on it what you want to have happen. If you don't want to do that, or if you don't have the resources to do that, you're stuck with whatever is presented to you. Now, that's not to say that's bad. It's just probably not the look that you are aspiring to because you're looking at other people's stuff who have those capabilities. If you don't have those capabilities, not being able to get that look is going to be a reality because you don't have that control. Now, the tricky bit is once you get to that level, once you have the ability to control a scene with the resources, that's when you don't want to screw it up. And you haven't, until you've gotten there, you haven't had that opportunity or you haven't had the tools to make that a reality. So there is a little bit of pressure when you just start to be able to do the job before you've actually done the job. That's the trickiest part in any cinematographer's career. That is the hurdle that you have to overcome. But guess what? The positive thing is that everyone who is a cinematographer has overcome that hurdle. So you can screw it up or not. If you don't screw it up, chances are you got yourself a little career. Now, let's be realistic about the numbers because chances are, how many great cinematographers, or not even great, how many halfway decent cinematographers are there that are working in the world today? 1,000? Like that's a huge number. 1,000, probably less. Probably 100 of people that you would want to shoot your project if you were a director and you had poured your blood, sweat, and tears into something. Maybe there's 100 people in the world. Now, how many of you are watching this video? Lots. How many of you are probably not as good as those 100? Everybody, including myself. So you got to be realistic about the results that you're going to achieve. So do yourselves a favor. Do you really like cinematography? I'm not trying to talk you out of it. I'm just being realistic. What kind of career do you want, kids? Come on. Okay, next up. Oh, here we go. This is a classic. This was one done on the one lighting setup to rule them all video that I did in the past. And it's a gem of a comment. Isn't this just standard 3-point lighting? Key, fill, rim. No, it's not. I mean, you are using 3 things, but it's not key, fill, rim. If you think about it, in key, fill, rim, guess what it's going to look like? Guess what your footage is going to look like? It's going to look like Channel 7, the nightly news, right? The reporter in the field. If you do key, fill, rim, and you think about it that way, I don't know, maybe you might be able to do it. In fact, maybe that's how Raj thinks about it. I do not think about it like that because I know if I do, I'm going to screw it up. I think about it one way. I think about it backlight, key, neg. That's it. That's how I think about it. 3 things. Is it similar as key, fill, rim? Maybe. I don't care. I don't care at all because this way works for me to make images that I like. It's not the same. If you think it's the same, go out, do the key, fill, rim that you've learned about in some other video and see if it looks very nice. And in fact, you don't even have to do it. Send it to me and I'll tell you that it doesn't look nice because I know the reality. I can click on the link that is your YouTube channel and I can see that the stuff doesn't look that good. Okay? Nobody else wants to tell you that. I will. Key, fill, rim, you can take that, you can flush it down the toilet. But if you backlight and then wrap the key and then put in a bunch of neg, guess what's going to happen? I'll like it more. You may not, but nobody cares about your opinion, right? You're not in this video. You're not in this room. I don't care. But I'll tell you what I like, and that is not key, fill, rim. So maybe, you can tell your friends. This is one of those things you could trick people that don't know cinematography, that weren't aware of how to make nice things. Like, oh, it's just key, fill, rim. No, it's not. No, it's not. They're 3 completely different things. And 2 ways to go about it, completely different. The results will vary, but however you get there in your mind, it's up to you. Okay, next up. You need a whole team of people. Say that again for all the YouTube educated one-man bands out there. Yeah, I mean, I like this comment because I had an unrealistic expectation of what I could do before realizing just how hard it was to make something good. And you need a whole team of people. Now, you need a whole team of people, but like I said before, the only way that you can then get all those people aligned with the vision that you have in your head is to become good at cinematography. How do you become good at cinematography? Understanding where all of the decisions that are made on a project will end up. It's like knowing the path before you have to walk it. If you don't know the path before you walk it and you have a team, guess what your results are going to be? Terrible, right? Now, I speak that from experience. If you aren't able to communicate with those around you, having more people doesn't do you any good, right? If you don't know what you're doing, having more people doesn't make you any better. Now, you can get really good people, and then not knowing what you're doing means not telling them anything, and then you can just hope that they are able to come up with some sort of plan or some sort of look that then you can take credit for. There's lots of people who have got careers off of getting people that are better than them, not telling them anything, using their knowledge, and then claiming it as their own. In fact, that's probably, if we're thinking about success and strike rates for the average Joe or Jane, that's probably a pretty good method, right? Probability-wise, to think, well, let me just get the most competent people. I won't even tell them anything. I'll just tell them I wanted to make it look nice and give them some vague words that, I don't know, that you learned on the internet, and maybe you get in the ballpark. That's actually a pretty good probability of success. Better than you not knowing anything and telling people, because as soon as you get on set and you're working with someone in any position that doesn't know anything, and you're someone that has a bee's dick of experience in the industry, you're going to know that the person's a space cadet and they have no idea what they're talking about. So better to know before you start to command the team around how you're going to act. But yes, it takes a lot of people. It takes a lot of resources. The ads that you see on television, if you watch television, I don't know who does that anymore, or the ads that you see in between YouTube videos, the number of people who are highly dedicated, skilled in their one particular little area that made that thing come to life are enormous. It's hard to get your head around how many people it takes to make something really, really special, and how everyone has to be firing on all cylinders to make something great. That is not commonplace, right? 99.9% of the jobs that you work on in your career are going to be terrible, right? And the 0.01% that aren't, did you have anything to do with that? Maybe, but maybe it was other people. I don't know. Is that a positive thing? Maybe not. Okay, let's go to the next one. All right, this one has to do with a video. I talked about the pros and cons of being a cinematographer, and it's as a loner with no family who loves to travel for work, I love it. So the reality is that in the commercial cinematography space or in the narrative space, you are away from your family a whole bunch of times, which means you are away. You can just remove the family bit. You're just away. It takes a person, it takes a significant energy allocation to be able to maintain relationships if you're a working cinematographer. Some people can do it. Some people have had great careers, and I'm sure they have great family lives as well. I'm just saying that's not the norm. It's very hard to do. And when you're 22 years old and you haven't traveled the world and you haven't stayed at the Ramada 1,000 times and you think it's glamorous, it sounds fantastic. And it sometimes is. Right? It's a great spot to be. You get lots of money. You get to travel around. You get to, be a little bigwig on set and boss folks around. That's kind of nice sometimes. But then, like anything, you get used to it, right? And all of a sudden, it's not quite as fun. And then you have to think, well, what am I doing? Am I going to use the skills of making beautiful images to sell T-shirts for the rest of my life? Is this what it's come to? And then you say, well, what would be worse? What would be worse than that? What if I started a YouTube channel so I could tell other people how to get careers that would ultimately wind up with them realizing that they've dedicated their entire life to creating beautiful images so that you can sell more T-shirts, right? That's what's better. No, it is. It sounds like a fantastic time. You just have to be aware of what you're getting into, because success in cinematography means you're away more. You will not be doing jobs down the street from your house. You'll be doing jobs far away. Some people like that. Some people don't. I didn't know that I didn't like that much. So then I had to pivot. I had to do other things. I had to come up with another plan. If someone had told me, sat me down before and gone, hey, what you're chasing, you don't even like. Do you think that you should continue to do that? I wouldn't have listened, right? I wouldn't have listened. I would have said, you don't know what you're talking about. It's going to be amazing. Watch me do it. And then they would have been right. I would have had to crawl back and say, you're right. Hopefully, I would have been big enough of a person to do that. Okay, before I go, let me tell you that this week is the only time that my course, Advanced Cinematography, is going to be for sale this year, apart from Black Friday. Right? I'm going to do it for 1 week. This is a course where I take you through from start to finish every decision that I make on set for a commercial. We do a mock commercial, from looking at the director's treatment for the first time, to doing the location scout, to doing the tech scout, to ordering the gear, to looking through the camera on a virtual set inside of Cine Designer. We filmed the entire commercial. We talk about the schedule. We talk about each shot. We talk about every lighting component in each shot. This is, I really made the Advanced Cinematography series, and this particular installment of the Advanced Cinematography series so that you could see exactly what the job is. If you've never done the job before, this is the job. On every commercial that I do, I answer these same questions. I go through the same process. It's the entire thing laid out. I've never seen it before anywhere else. I only keep it open. I'm only going to keep it open for 1 week. You can find the link in the description below. If you want to be a cinematographer, this is the best that I could come up with for how to get you up to speed as fast as possible. If someone had never heard about cinematography and they somehow found their way onto a set and they were going to have a job coming up in 3 days, this is what I would give them, and I'm pretty sure that they could get the job done, right? It might not be the greatest work on earth, but you can get everything that a cinematographer does, at least, I don't know, every cinematographer. Everything that I do on set, on any job, beforehand, in pre-production, is laid out in this course step by step. It's not just me rambling for 3 hours. It's as I cut all of the fat down to this is the job. This is it. And we go on set, I show you the lighting fixtures, we look through the lens, we talk about decisions, I go over my inner monologue, like what I'm thinking when I'm looking through the viewfinder, besides what's for lunch, is like, okay, can we improve it 1%? How do we improve it 1%? What isn't working? What is working? It, I think, is the best cinematography resource that I have found on the internet. And it's some of the work that I'm most proud of. All of the courses I love, but the advanced cinematography stuff really is the tip of the spear for if you want to know about cinematography, working in the commercial space, what it is like to be on a job. That's it. And you can find the link in the description below. It will be available for 7 days. That's it. Then it's closed until the Black Friday sale. And then it'll be open again next year. So this is your one chance this year to get access to it. Do with that what you will. Okay, many thanks for checking out the video. If you have comments on any, or if you've got questions that I haven't got to here, or anything that you want, just leave it in the comment below, right? The relationship between you and I is only as good as the comments are. I don't interact with you in the real world. I can only interact with you in the comments. So tell me, what do you want to hear? Where am I wrong? What isn't clear? And I will try to get to those. Okay, that's going to do it. We'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.